What can I say about Asterisk War this week that pretty much couldn't have already been said for what I kind of presented last week or the week before that when they were talking about this whole thing of having Ayato and Euless versus Artie and MC? Artie and Rimsey. RMC. But it's really crazy to kind of watch it's actually really fun to watch the fight actually play out, because at the very least it was actually a very interesting way how that, or it was a very unique way as to how that they were doing their things to fight him. But it still kind of killed me though, because they only saw one of Ayato's secret sword abilities, and even if they did have that in their databases, I mean, who's to say that he can't change that up like as he goes? Because he could probably change that shit up and then like just maybe go all low, maybe go high. You never know. But they did do a pretty cool systematic attack to actually take out, or at least kind of force them into their super mode. Then once super mode hit, you pretty much saw where that shit was going. And it did kind of kill me a bit earlier as to why he didn't just bury them like in the shields from the first place. Or let's just make like a whole shield cage, like jump on top and then just throw his hammer downward so that they couldn't fucking do anything to get out of it. Especially since, you know, that they had to go against gravity as well. But then again, I'm also thinking like maybe using a blunt object to crush a badge, I mean crush a tiny badge above somebody's heart isn't necessarily the best plan to kind of carry out. But what the fuck do I know? So cutting over from the main battle, because this episode does end in a very Ayato-esque way. But the actual battle against that guy, I'm not sure his name. I think it's Shade or some shit like that. But either way, a guy who uses shadows, he was actually a pretty valiant combatant for Karen. It's almost like he probably could have beaten them if he didn't let his guard down, or if he wasn't trying to, because for some reason it appeared as though he was trying to hold back for some reason. It's kind of odd. It's almost like if he has enough ability to make a whole fucking army of shadow people to hold off somebody, and also has enough ability to fucking like precisely create shadow daggers to take everybody out, you would think that him going up against Karen and Sarah and Saya would probably be less of a challenge for him, especially since that they're both injured as well. But then again, I do have to give Saya props for using the flashbang. But yeah, you know, they do kind of beat him up on some of that Orochimaru shit. So it's not all really a loss. But until then, though, this episode does end with the whole thing of him using his super sword again and using it to cut through everything. And that still kind of broke me down of saying, well, if it boiled right down to natural skill, could Ayato really burn through everybody there? Seems as though that he could, but, you know, he kind of has a teammate to worry about, so, you know, that's something to kind of take into consideration. And also, it does kind of work for his favor that nobody really knows what his actual fighting style is. So I guess him using the super purple sword really does help him out in the long run. But until then, that is what I gotta say about that. I'll see you next time on the next Jongravesshow. Keep watching anime, keep playing video games. I'm out.